Well, I am going to do something that I said I wasn't going to do again, and that is I'm going to plant a cover crop on this little plot. This is what used to be a back to Eden type garden, more so than a back to Eden garden. It's just a way that I transformed my soil. This was still is underneath this, still is just a hard red clay. I mean, hard red clay. You couldn't have anything any harder than this. And over the years, years ago, even before Back to Eden, I was piling this up with hay and leaves and whatever I could find. And then Back to Eden, I heard about wood chips, and I've got a neighbor that's a has a tree service. So he brought me years ago loads and loads and loads of wood chips, and I piled them up on this area. Probably in places at one time there were probably at least 18 inches, if not 2 feet, of wood chips, and I just left them here for 2 or 3 years and just let them, didn't do anything, didn't plant, didn't do anything, just let it mulch down, and just really got the soil to a nice dark, loose, pliable, beautiful soil. Anyway, I had sunflowers right there. The rest of this was peas. Had 2 rows of corn there, some squash on the end. All that's gone. And Travis Key at Haas Tools has been talking a lot about cover crops, and he assured me, we had a conversation about this. Last year I planted ryegrass. Last winter or fall I planted ryegrass. Said I'd never do that again. It was just horrible trying to get it up, trying to get it out of the garden. But so he's got some Sudan grass that he recommends can get real tall, can get, I think, 6, 7, 8 feet tall. But if you want to, you can wait till it gets that tall and then mow it. He lets his get up about 2 feet tall, and then he mows his and mulches it down, and then finally either tills it or tarps it. So I'm gonna come in here. I've already tilled it, and after a good tilling, I'm going to come in here and throw the seed. I'll probably come with a rake and rake out some of the high spots, and try to get a little bit more uniform. A little bit. Not going to spend a lot of time on it because it's going to do what it's going to do. And we're going to plant it with Sudan grass. He sent me 10 pounds. This is about a 50 by 50 plot, thereabouts. Maybe a little bigger, maybe a little smaller, I don't know. But it's about, it's pretty square. And anyway, we're going to plant it in Sudan grass, and I'll have to set up some water sprinklers because it is hot and dry, and it will need some water. So well, let's sow some seed. So here's what I'm planting. It's Sudan grass. Looks like, I don't know, small popcorn kernels, maybe. So it's kind of hard to see red seed on my red dark ground. But we're going to chunk it out. I was going to throw it by hand, but I found a little spreader that I have. Found this little spreader, so I'm going to use it. It's just a crank type spreader, and it does a pretty good job. So let's plant some Sudan grass cover crop seeds. So the first time I raked it, I raked it with the tines of this rake. This is just a leaf rake with the tines down because I was trying to spread out some dirt, level it out kind of, and also was raking some dead grass out of it from the tilling and all that. This time I'm gonna rake it like this with the tines up because I don't want to rake it deep. I just want to rake it enough to where, like this, to where the leaf rake just barely covers the Sudan grass. Well, I think I got it sowed pretty thick. I think I've got it raked in good enough. The water's gonna rake it in some or cover the seed some. I can't let the chickens out here anymore till this gets well established, because they would just love to scratch through it and eat all that seed. Kind of looks like maize, smaller maize, and I guess even when it grows, it kind of favors maize somewhat. So let me turn on the sprinkler. If you don't know what that sprinkler is, then you've never watched my video, how to make the world's best sprinkler. I'll put a link to that video up in the top right corner right about now, and it is a great sprinkler that you can make yourself just by one trip to Lowe's. All right, let me turn this dude on, see how it does. Camera may get wet, I don't know. So my plan is my timer is a 2-hour timer, manual timer, and it'll run 2 hours and shut off. They've never failed yet to shut off. Just an excellent timer. So anyway, I'll let it run 2 hours. It's 4:30 now. I'll come back out here at 6:30, probably turn it on for another 2 hours, let it run 4 total. I don't have a round plot, I've got a square plot, and the only way it's going to get those corners is to reach far enough out there to come around and get the corner. So it's doing it, and Travis said to plant it thick. He told me 10 pounds was thick for this size plot, and that's what I needed. Again, taking his word for this, he plants a ton of cover crops, and for that reason, I'm taking his advice. I've taken it on just about everything else, and this has been a banner year. He plants things other than this Sudan grass, but this is his favorite. He really recommends the Sudan grass. So this is the hot season cover crop. Now there are cool or winter or cold season cover crops and stuff, and I'll be asking him about that in a few months. But get this up and established and get it mowed a couple of times maybe, and till back in, mulch back in, and this ought to look pretty good. I will keep you up to date on this as it comes up and as it matures, and as I do what I got to do to make the soil better and to stop the erosion, stop the weed problems. We'll get wet, so I'm moving. I don't mind me getting wet because it's about 90 degrees, but yeah, it's coming way out here. It's coming way out here, so it's covering everything. That's another reason I'm going to do 4 hours probably in the initial watering, then maybe just 2 hours a day from now on. Anyway, looks good. I like it. We'll let you know how it goes, and I think it's going to go well. All right, planting cover crop, Sudan grass from Haas Tools, cover crop, summertime cover crop, and we're gone.